I don't think it will work, firstly. Secondly, it's unnecessary. You have to have simple regulations to prevent people taking excessive risks. When you tell the institution, don't ask your junior bright people to go and take risks and put $10 million in everybody's pocket and say, you go and play with this, I take the risk, you play what you want. Why do you want to do that? It is the role of the management, the role of the senior people, not to encourage youngsters. If there's plenty of money in their pocket, you go on thrusting money in their pocket and then you go and take risks. You don't mind if you lose this. If you make money, I'll give you more bonus. If you lose money, I'll give you some bonus. Everybody is happy to take the risk.
Thank you, sir.
It's not good for the financial market.
Can we come back to it later?
Good evening, sir. So my question to you is pertaining the minimum public shareholding requirement as mandated by the Sebi, which is 25%, for the private companies. So my question is this the right move, considering that a lot of companies are considering delisting at this point of time, and what implications would it have in the long run?
I saw that. It's an interesting question. You see, small investor is always a disadvantage in the large investor. Here you say, if you have 25% of public shareholding, small investor group, why are you discouraging them from having that? Why do you want to have more than 25%? I think it's quite fair to give these people an opportunity to decide for themselves whether they want to put their money here or elsewhere without any limitation imposed by an outside agency. I would agree with that. Except warn them that if they go as a minority with only 2%, 1%, 5%, you get in there, you may not get kind of support. The large shareholders will steamroll you and get away with all kinds of other decisions that you are unable to develop. So don't get into that situation. It's a warning.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My question is regarding the controversy of participatory notes in India and the investment of foreign personnel through these instruments. The Sebi and the RBI said clearly that they don't want T-notes to be continued. But government and Sebi are very adamant about it, and they are coming up with alternate methods so that T-notes can be issued.
And that, see, historically, in '92, I was the one who recommended entry of FIIs, subject to FIIs being pre-qualified. They will be registered in some other country from which they come. All these conditions I put. After I left, I found that P-notes are the greatest damage that has been done to the country. You now talk about the Kabbalah trading, all the black money trading. They are giving a revolving door to all the black money people to come in through one door, go out through the other door. They can invest in P-notes through somebody. They don't have to reveal identity. They don't have to reveal the source of funds. They put in money here, sell in the market, make profits, take out the money, I would say. It's a good way of boosting the market, giving a false idea that people are buying shares and therefore turning your shares. It's a very dangerous thing to allow this P-notes, and I've opposed it whenever I had a chance. But I didn't have much of a chance because I left Sebi long ago. So P-notes are not good for the country, and P-notes should not have been there.
So the RBI is clearly showed that they don't want P-notes.
I agree with that.
But the government is forcing its way through Sebi. Do you think this is a question on the autonomously of the Sebi, that they are not capable enough or they are not willing enough to span P-notes?
The autonomy of institutions, as I mean the government, is a very broad question. It occurs openly, it doesn't occur openly, it occurs in the selection of persons. You select a man who favors for a PN, the government will put such a man and then say, I want PN. If you select a man like me, you say, I'm opposed to PN, they will not put me there. So various ways of influencing the decisions in these, depending on government's own predilections. But there should be a body of impartial people like Dr. Srinivasan and others who study the situation and say, PNs are not good for the country. The way they have been used, conditions under which they are allowed to be used, is not good for the country. Because of the, and yet, if you want a source for all black money to go in and out of Hawala, a PN is the perfect solution.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. My question is related to OTC market. OTC market worldwide is not as visible as exchanges. And we witnessed in US that OTC market were carrying huge systematic risk by by spending a lot of money in mortgage-backed securities. So, how do you think OTC market should be regulated? in India as well as in US? I mean, how can we make it more visible?
You see, when you have derivatives market, when you have other markets, I don't see the need for an active OTC market. There is a need for OTC market. If you have small investors, you can go here, there, anywhere. But if OTC is necessary for small investors, keep it under the regular rules applicable to them. But otherwise, OTC can lead investors into trouble if it is least regulated. And I think it is not adequately regulated now because people think it's too small to need attention. That's the way it is. And if it's too small to need attention, stop it. Let them go to the regular market. But don't tie their hand by saying you have minimum 25% and all those things. Give them freedom outside the OTC market or increase the size of the OTC market, which is unnecessary regulatory burden, which is unnecessary. It is not related to actual volume of investment or the interest of investors. What is justification for OTC, I have not been able to understand.
Thanks.
Yes, I'm going to open this now to the class because before that I want to make a statement. Professor Bala was very particular, gung-ho, that this course has to be taught now while you are all going for placements. Because we don't want this institution to be a placement college, quote unquote. We want to know we have knowledge, we studied something seriously, or interested in the subject matter, sure we want to make money. We really want a good position. But we also know the subject are concerned about current global crisis, what's going on and how we are going to, and that is why we have such a resource here today to help us. And therefore, I know that you all have heard what's going on. Some of you have studied and all the rest of you will start studying, and it's my responsibility to see that you leave the course with something under your belt, as to speak. And so I want now to open this. If you have any concerns and questions, where we are headed and where we are now, and what would you like to learn from Mr. Ramakrishna, this is your opportunity. Yes.
I want to ask regarding the kind of laws which are passed by the government. Since you said that ethics are the the code of conduct which is for the development of the common people, or any of the law which is being passed by the government is for the development of the common man. But I have the issue where since the kind of electoral poll which happens, only 50% of the people vote. And after that, for majority, only 50% of the votes are required in the House. So ideally, whenever a law is passed in the interest of common man, it is represented by only 25% of the population of India. Is it the right way to pass any act in the where we are representing 100 billion people?
See, this issue I looked at in the context of private companies, private limited companies, and public limited companies. Then I found that by having general body meetings in faraway places like Nasik or Ludhiana or some other place, they passed resolutions in companies with only 6% of those present and voting in private companies. It affects the entire 98% of shareholders, and they had a system of selling shares all over India. So people are shareholding in Assam or Guwahati or Kanyakumari or South India and everywhere. But to have a meeting in one place somewhere in Kathiawad or Saurashtra, how are they supposed to go there and vote there? That's one reason why I wanted postal ballot to give a real democracy for even corporate democracy. And I pressed the committee which was framing the amendment rule, Mr. Krishnamurthy was there. He saw the point, but he was not able to get it through. The private company people on the committee conceded very little to me. They said, we will have postal ballot, provided the company wants it. Which company will want postal ballot? So they counted off my objection by saying that we have provided postal ballot if the company wants it. My idea was provide postal ballot for every decision that they take so that every shareholder everywhere has an opportunity of saying what he wants on the subject. But that is not there in private companies. Now in public government rules and regulations, you can't take every government decision to a referendum. In a large country like India, you can't take everything to a referendum. You have to go on the basis of elected people who go to assembly or Lok Sabha and see if they have enough support, 50% support or majority support to pass the necessary bills. Beyond that, you can't consult everybody at every stage on all actions of government. So you have to trust the government, you have trusted the government. If you don't trust it, don't vote that government, give some other chance to some other party. So it's very difficult. If you try to analyze two manifestos of two companies, two parties, you will see how difficult it is to support one or the other because there's a mix of everything in every manifesto.
How about the silent group over here? Do you have any questions? The last person there.
Good evening, sir. I'd like your views on rating agencies and how they've been criticized post the 2008 crisis, and what would your views be on that?
Rating agencies serve a useful purpose within limits. They are not universally God's gospel, but they do have a valuable role in influencing the flow of capital to certain countries for certain purposes. If they lower the rating of a particular country, then the flow of foreign funds into that country gets affected. So they have a role. And one assumes that they have an independent role because they use it against developing countries and developed countries. Today the Eurozone countries have had a bad time, and the main people who pointed out the problems in the Eurozone country, in Greece and Spain and other countries, were the rating agencies who drew attention to it, not the IMF. The role of rating agency could effectively be formed by IMF, but IMF cannot do that because its composition is such that all countries are involved in it. So if you lower the rating of a country as a member of IMF, they will all take, why are you stabbing us in the back? But if the rating agency does it, they will accept it. So rating agencies have a role, provided they perform it impartially and without any agency to come in between the country they are rating, the rating they are making for a country, and the rating agency itself should be independent. You would accept it. I think it's an impartial signal of where the country is going. For instance, when I was talking to somebody, the Eurozone is in trouble now. When the monetary union came, when I was in Brussels, the only country which said I'll join in the common market but not in the monetary union was UK. That is why you have the British pound and not the euro. Euro is there in all of Europe but not in Europe, not in England or UK. So in the same way, if you want to have uniformity, it's very difficult for the Eurozone countries themselves. One of these days I think Germany may opt out of Eurozone because it's a different category of economy compared to Spain and Greece and other countries. So the future of Europe, monetary union and the common standards for application to budgetary deficits, foreign exchange deficit and trade balance and the inflation in those countries cannot be uniform in all countries. So they're trying their best to keep it together. How long they succeed, you have to wait and see.
Thank you, sir. So to add on to that, what would your views be in terms of corporate credit ratings where the sanctity of these ratings has been questioned in recent times?
The corporate credit rating, you always have some norms that are followed by lending agencies. I think it's best to leave it to them. It should be lender and borrower. You can't have a government regulated categorization or approval for private companies.
We haven't come to this question in our class schedule, rating and so on, which we will toward the 3/4 of our course. And of course, this is an interesting, important question. And we know so many of our difficulties that arose from Moody and Standard and Poor and rating as they please. And also the award giving organizations, including Global Economic Forum, Ernst & Young, and Deloitte, all of them were showering all kinds of governance, wonderful governance ratings and awards to people. So we'll come to it, but thank you for asking that question. And now here there's somebody who's been, you were asking? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask in year 1992, when Harshad Mehta and Ketan Parikh scam unfolded, and it was in a tune of 4,000 crores, and at that time you were at the helm of Sebi. So what was your personal reaction? What were the other measures you took after that that huge scam took the whole country by storm?
To cut a long story short, I request you to read the chapter where I dealt with the Harshad Mehta credit. Point was, it was going on for a long time. It didn't burst out in 1992. It was going on from 1991-92. During that time, Sebi did not have any statutory powers. There was a joint parliamentary committee that was set up before which I appeared and gave evidence about what we can do, what we could not do to avoid this Harshad Mehta episode. The point was, they had an STL account in the Reserve Bank. The bank kept their securities ledger, subsidiary ledger account in the Reserve Bank. It was not even computerized when you went into it. It was manually operated in the register. And when a bank buys or sells security, it's supposed to enter it in the STL of the Reserve Bank. It was so, the time gap of 3 or 4 days or 1 week in this process. During those 3 or 4 days, the money was like free for Harshad Mehta to grab and settle his account with the private bank. And like English bank, the bank has a receipt. Why so?
Bank receipts.
Huh?
Bank receipts he was forging the bank receipts.
That's right, bank receipts, yes, quite true. Because the STL was a gap there. STL, there was not proper accounting in the STL itself. So banks receipts, you could not encash, but there is no STL account there.
Yes. Anyone here in this room? Yes, go ahead.
भाई पूछे क्या
Good evening, sir. My question is, why are not many convicted for insider trading in India, and why are they not conspicuous? Are all the big fishes very clean?
Insider trading is one of the most difficult areas for regulation, detection and prosecution. Even in America, except for big ticket names to getting here and there like this Pandit and others, not Pandit, what's his name? Rajat Gupta. How many cases of insider trading do you find in America? And with all the powers of wiretapping, going into an office and arresting people, all the powers are not there with us. Even in those powers, how far has SEC gone? Insider trading is very difficult unless you have extraordinary powers of detection of telephone calls, wiretapping and other details.
So then probably many people many of the big fishes are doing it and
Yeah, by doing it, you have to find ways of dealing with it. You have to give new powers to SEC and others to trace people's calls. But that will raise a huge storm if you say the invasion of privacy. So insider trading is actually the power to detect privacy, private calls, private information. So you want to surrender that, you can have insider trading. Otherwise you have insider trading in very few cases where obviously man comes and says, on information, I gave to my friend and I knew the share price was going up or the board was taking a particular decision, and then they sell and buy shares. Very few cases. It's very difficult to do that.
Thanks.
Well, in terms of wire fraud and wiretapping and all of this, in specific cases, when charges are being brought to a judge and a court order is obtained, and then in the US it is possible. Even now there are many who would not accept it as evidence. But the fact is, the fact that courts are involved, once they are convinced that something is going on, then one can get a court order to go and tap the conversations or get your email, your phone tap and everything else. And then you can have the whole thing left open to the court to decide whether they'll accept it. But are you saying that's not available here?
Not available, and if you ask for it, they will say, invasion of privacy, even when you say, I want power to tap conversations affecting national security, and hesitating to give those powers. When it comes to insider trading, they say even more. They say you're invasion of privacy. You misuse the power for other purposes. So we don't have that kind of power today of tapping anybody's phone. If you suspect anybody of insider trading, you will go to a court and get a special order, and then they can do that. But they will not give you that power so easily.
Well, given the political kind of power that politicians have here, wouldn't you say that's a good thing not to have that kind of thing? But can you not support that the courts must have such powers? Or are the judges corrupt?
I don't think the Indian system of jurisprudence, the courts will get into this area. They will not get into this area. There is an investigative power, which the court should say, we are not investigating agencies. We are looking at charges that come after somebody investigates a crime, and then they say there's a crime, it comes to us and we decide. But we are not investigating agencies.
Yes, yes, please.
Good evening, sir. This question is about the 2008 crisis. The McKinsey report recently goes out saying that in the US, the directors of the companies have hardly done anything since the crisis to find out more about how the companies are doing, how their internal audit is working. Especially when it comes to India and the emerging economies where most of these big fishes are family run. Here, one of the CEO executives was quoted to be saying that the more transparency means more opportunity for the government to favor my competitor. If this kind of opinion goes out from the executive directors, my question is what has the Sebi done, or what are the regulations that have been taken in India which questions the qualification of the directors in terms of their understanding of the industry dynamics, the risks, or the value creations of the companies, and how are we checking on, other than of course retirement by rotation or of course declaration of their disinterest, what have we done to find out how much they are interested or they can find out about these calamities done by the companies?
You have a system of independent directors on boards. They work very well. Then it's possible to get some relief in this area. The other real question is, you have to have postal ballots. Give the average shareholder a vote, then people will be there. Even if you have 20% of dispersed on various people all over India, they have no vote. When it comes to special resolution or selling property or giving a loan, they don't have a vote because they are not participating in the board meetings. They cannot travel all the way all over India to exercise his 1 vote power or 10 vote power. It costs them a lot of money, so they don't go. So why sell shares all over India and then not give them the right to vote?
So the question is also on the independence of these independent directors and how disinterested they are, especially when it is the case of family-run businesses.
You have to regulate the auditors by rotating them as best as you can, by approving them or debarring them if you have wrongdoing detected. But barring that, how else can you regulate the auditors?
She's more asking about the family businesses where